The spiritual awakening journey is not always just rainbows and butterflies. In fact, it can be dark, it can be challenging, and yes, it can be painful. But once you really comprehend the importance of this pain in your journey, you will also understand that that's where the real healing begins, and that's where we'll take you to the real awakening path. So I don't know why no one really tells you about the pain in the awakening journey, but I do, because it's super important. So let's talk about it. Have you ever felt like there's something missing in your life? Like you're searching for a deeper meaning or a deeper purpose in your life? And this is when we start questioning everything in our life. And when we do that, this will take us and will lead us to a spiritual awakening journey. But what no one really tells you, that this journey of awakening is not really going to the light and seeking enlightenment without any pain. That's the whole point of it. It's a painful process, it's a painful journey, and it's very important to understand why this pain and why the dark side of the awakening is just as crucial as the bright side of it. So you start questioning everything, your beliefs, your identity, even your relationships. And this is what I call the looking into the mirror technique, when we start being very honest with ourselves. And that's when we find those parts of our life that we've been avoiding for so long, and our deepest fears that we never wanted to face because they are scary, they are fearful. But we do, and this will take us to have emotions like anger or sadness. And let's be honest, this is a very lonely journey. So whether you just start experiencing this kind of journey and spiritual path, or you're deep inside the rabbit hole already, I try to give you some guidance that hopefully will help you navigate through your awakening journey and awakening path. Welcome to Mystery Teachings. My name is Gergő. If you are new to the channel, then welcome and namaste. Or if you are a returning beautiful soul, hey, thanks for coming back. I appreciate you. Let's just start with the basic question that probably everyone asks at some point in their life, which is, what is spirituality? And in my opinion, and my humble answer is spirituality that when we start to discover who we really are. So what do I mean here is, if I ask you the question, who are you? You will probably tell me your name, your nationality, where you are from, maybe your religion or your career, your job. But I'm telling you, that's not who you are. Those are labels. My name is a label. My job is a label. My religion is a label. That's not who I am. So the question is who I am, and the question is, who are you? And I think the spiritual journey really begins when you start answering this question to yourself, and the answer you give to yourself makes more and more sense. Does that make sense? So let me give you my example. So if I ask myself who I am, my good answer is that I am an infinite energetic being having a temporary human experience here on Earth. And I don't associate my body, for example, with my soul and with my spirit, because I believe that this body I have, this is just the physical vehicle that I need in order to exist in this 3D physical existence in today's physical world here on the place called Earth. But I am an infinite, endless energy being, energetic being, and so are you, beautiful soul. How about that answer? So where does this pain come from? In my opinion, it's when we start to realize that they want us to get lost, they want us to be confused, to be in fear all the time, in low mood and low frequencies. And when I say they, yes, I'm talking about the bad guys, just to say it really nicely. So we start to question everything. That's when our awakening begins, and we realize that the world, once we knew, makes no sense anymore. I believe we came here for a reason. We came here with a purpose, which I believe we decided before our birth. Let's just call it the desire of our soul. But what's happening after our birth? So we end up in this 3D physical reality called the Earth, or let's just say the Matrix, And we start learning from a very young age. When I say learning, I also mean brainwash or indoctrination. What do I mean? We start learning very early that you need to work hard. Don't dream big. You cannot achieve big things in life. You need to be a hard worker entire life. And you are not important. You are just a piece of dust coming from a coincidence called the Big Bang. So we learn that we cannot dream big and we need to fit the expectations of society, and we are just being tolerated instead of appreciated. And when things don't go the way we want, we can blame others. That's the ego. That we live in this material world and we're chasing money and material gains. And we believe we will be happy when we get them. But is it true? Let's talk about rabbit holes a little bit. So we live in the matrix, and I think it shouldn't be this way, but it is what it is. We live in the world where we live in, and you will find more and more rabbit holes during your awakening journey. Yes, I mean those conspiracy stories. And when you do, you realize that those are not just theories, those are actually true stories. This is one of the reasons why I make both type of videos, either conspiracy and rabbit hole videos, or spiritual videos and true history and so on. So on one side it helps to wake up people, and on the other side it always ends with the positive, even if the conspiracy or the rabbit hole story itself looks scary at the beginning. The truth only hurts at the beginning. And then, as I said, I always end my videos with something positive. So the truth hurts at the beginning? Sorry, but not sorry. But why do we say that truth hurts? Where does that come from? So my message here is that don't stay in the rabbit holes. Do your research, find out the truth, but also don't forget to live your life. So keep this healthy balance between the two. So you start to find out the truth about different things and areas in life. But also there are people around you who don't like that, and they start to label you as conspiracy theorist. You're the crazy guy. And they say you go crazy, and maybe you start to believe that you're going crazy. But I'm telling you, you're not. You're just waking up. But who is a conspiracy theorist really? I think it's someone who questions the statements of people who are known to be liars. So if that's the case, yeah, keep questioning the liars. That's a good thing to do. No matter what you do, these people, they will keep labeling you as crazy, as the conspiracy guy, and other things. They are yelling at you, which is nothing else but their ego defends the lie, the comfortable lie, against the uncomfortable truth. That's what they try to defend. So if you don't think that these people are acting from their ego and they are under mind control, just look at how they treat anyone who thinks freely and questions the official narrative, and you get the answer. When you know, you know. This is what we say when you find out the truth. Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Or as we say, once you wake up, you cannot go back to sleep. So you see both sides of the story. You see the bad guys, and you see the scary truth, and you see the good guys who are exposing them. As I said, they can label you as conspiracy, and they can ridicule your practices like meditation, or they can ridicule your tools like using crystals, for example. They are amazing in my opinion, but it doesn't matter, because truth is the best. In fact, truth and authenticity are the highest possible frequencies, because you see reality, not the illusion. And that feels liberating, that gives you more freedom, that helps you to find your purpose, that will help you to get united with others and create real relationships. No more fakery, not staying in bad relationships and just keep asking, oh, what will the other think? You don't care anymore. If they say that you changed, take it as a compliment. And if they want to fight with you, my suggestion is don't play the game, simply because love is the answer. If you want to win the fight, if you want to convince them that you're right and you find out the truth, if you really want to be right, that's your ego, my friend. The first step of your healing is the acknowledgement of shit. You need to acknowledge the shit in your life. Yes, spirituality is a must to fulfill your life purpose. Otherwise, we just stay in the rat race. We're gonna be lazy and so on. And eventually we're gonna be feeling lost. And on this journey, yes, you can feel the same. You can feel that you're lost. You can feel that you're being alone. You can feel lonely. This is a lonely journey, and you get to a point where no one really understands you. That's what we call the dark night of the soul. And that usually leads to the so-called shadow work, which I call looking into the mirror and start giving very, very honest answers to yourself, probably the first time in your life. And that will eventually lead to the ego death, and then the real healing will begin. But the truth is, there is no shortcut in this process. If you want to achieve real understanding and wisdom, and then finding the real peace, and this is the way. You know, it's not happening just once and it's done and you're awake. No, it's a process. This is a journey. Maybe it happens many, many times, as it happened to me many times, and maybe will happen still. But you know what? I don't mind, because that's how we grow. That's how we evolve, step by step, becoming a little better every single day. And in the meantime, being okay with making mistakes as part of the journey. No mistakes, no learning. No pain, no gain. Everything else is just excuse and bullshit. We live in a world so fake that the truth actually scares people. We lie to each other, we make excuses about everything and so on. That's the 3D. And the real awakening is happening whether we want or not, which is the 5D. We are heading there, whether we like it or not. And the earlier you find out the truth, the better. Also, let's talk about the ego trap a little bit. So you're on the path of spirituality. You're already start practicing things like meditation, or using tools like crystals and understand their energies. Or maybe you start learning about your energy centers, also known as your chakras. But if you judge those who are not there yet and they are not interested in these things, that's an ego trap. Why would you judge your brothers and sisters just because they are not on your level, right? Maybe you talk about the sleeping ones, but in the same time you call them stupid sheep, then you're in an ego trap. If you think you're more or better than others because you're awake or you're awakening, that's an ego trap. Judging those who don't accept our advice, that's an ego trap. We all want to help, but we can't force it. Remember, however they behave, it's not their fault. They trapped in an illusion. We all born into the same system of the matrix. And no, we cannot help everyone. Wishing them best and leave them alone is an option. You know, it's not your job to heal everyone. And please remember that you are the priority and your peace is the most important thing. Everyone else comes after. The soul knows when they are not ready. And if you continue to try to wake up others, eventually you will hurt yourself. And that will lead to another dark night of the soul, which is again a lonely journey. And if it's already happening, you might need the lesson. I'm sorry, but this is the truth. It's very difficult, I know, including for me. And sometimes I forget these lessons when I want to wake up others. So the truth is that the dark side of the spiritual awakening journey, or the spiritual pain itself, is important. This is not about escaping reality or finding eternal bliss. It's about facing your truth. It's about embracing your darkness and finding peace within the chaos. So if you're on this path of awakening, I want you to know that it's okay to feel lost. It's okay to feel confused. It's okay not to be okay. Please trust that the darkness will lead you to the light. I'm not being positive here, but that's the truth, my friend. Embrace this journey, because when you do, that's where the true transformation will begin. So when I was editing this video, I took a little break and I found a short clip that summarizes exactly what I'm talking about. And it's just such a strange coincidence. Obviously, there are no coincidences. So I just wanted to show you because it was really interesting to find this in the middle of making this video. So here we go.
The scariest part of awakening is that you can no longer be the old you. You can no longer unsee what you have seen. And many times what happens is things have to change. People in your relationships have to change. Your career and your work life has to change. The things that you find passion in have to change. Why? Because awakening is a spiritual awakening. Awakening is a process of you no longer being this third dimension version of you. And that gets scary. It gets scary because the entire life that you have constructed was constructed from the old you, the fear-based you, the scared you. I'm here to encourage you if you're going through this right now and let you know that you have the courage within you to overcome any of the obstacles and challenges that you're facing when it comes to your awakening journey. And the more and more that you heal, the more and more that you release, and the more and more that you heal, and the more and more that you release the control of the mind and the ego, the more and more that you allow yourself to tap into your heart, your intuition, your true power. And what I can promise you is this: life gets 100 times more abundant, 100 times easier, and 100 times more in flow when you have awakened. Once you face that fear, once you let go of what no longer serves you, and once you step into the new you and your new life.
It's a really good explanation, isn't it? So now that you understand why the spiritual pain and the dark side of the awakening journey is important, now you also understand that it's not gonna last forever, and eventually you will end up in a much higher energy state, a much more liberating feeling, which is also super important, and honestly it feels way better than what we discussed so far. So once you're in that state of good energies and high vibrations, the next step is to be able to maintain the high energy and the good vibes. And how do you do that? Well, I can give you a lot of tips for that, and if you check out this video, I give you not one, not two, but 10 powerful tips to maintain good energy and good vibes. So make sure you check it out, and make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. I love you all, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you in this one. Stay blessed.